Hey, we're going to do a verb review today, and we're going to go over that paper that you worked on whenever it was that you worked on it, because we've all been on a break, so who knows when you did it, but we're going to look at it today, all right? So real quick, let's just do a review of verbs. Okay, so we're going to look at some different kinds of verbs that we've talked about before, but I just wanted to do a review. First, let's talk about action verbs. Okay, action verbs are like running, breathing, thinking. Remember, they don't have to be a big action, just something that you can do, like sitting. Okay, that's not very active, but it's an action verb. I want you to also remember that direct objects only follow action verbs because direct objects receive the action from a verb, right? So like if I were to say, where's my eraser? If I were to say, I ate apples. All right. Ate is my verb. Who or what did the eating? Your subject is I. And what did I eat? I ate apples. Apples are what is actually being eaten. It received the action. You can't have a direct object without an action verb, okay? So let's move on. We've got action verbs. You know what? We talked about them, so let's put them up here. Action, check, okay? Let's talk about helping verbs. Helping verbs. Helping verbs have to help another verb, okay? They can help an action verb. So remember, we know the helping verb list, so I'm not going to make you do that. Y'all all know that really well. But you could say, I am eating apples, okay? So your action verb is eating, but am is your helping verb, all right? It's helping the verb eating. Okay, helping. Helping verbs don't always have to help action verbs, okay? They can also help other verbs. We'll talk about that in a minute, like state of being. State of being verbs, these are very boring little verbs. They don't tell an action. They're not helping anything. They don't link anything. We'll review that in a minute. State of being verbs, it just means you are. Like if I said, he was. Like, who was going to the bank? He was. Okay? Or, let's see. It is. This is a tiny little sentence, but it is a sentence. It has a verb and it has a subject. Okay? So state of being verbs. Simple. If you can't tell what's going on, like if there's no action to it, it's not helping anything, it's not linking a predicate adjective or a predicate nominative, then it might be a state of being verb. State of being just means that it just exists. You just are. Okay, and then we've got linking verbs. Linking verbs link the subject, like, okay, we're going to go, it was green. It was green. Green is an adjective, right? But remember, we talked about green is an adjective, but it's not describing anything in the predicate. It's describing the subject. So in this sentence, you've got was is a linking verb. It's linking your subject with a word that describes or renames the subject. So your subject is it was, and then you have to make that slanted line green, okay? I can also say, it was a frog, okay? Now, you have the word frog. That's a noun. That's not an adjective, but it's renaming the subject it. It's telling what it is. So was is still your verb. Who or what was? It. So it is your subject. And then you have the word frog. It's a predicate nominative. Remember the word noun, nominative? It's renaming. So we're going to make our little slanted line. Frog goes here. And then the article A goes with frog. It's describing frog as an article does, okay? So, there you go. There's our little review, and now we're going to look at our paper from before. All right, so take a look at your paper, and I'm going to go over the answers with you. Look at number 1. Jalapeno peppers taste fiery. Fiery is going to be your predicate adjective. Fiery is describing peppers, which is your subject. Number 2. Now, don't let this trick you up. Number 2 says Rachel became the youngest member of the band. Okay, Rachel became something, right? She didn't become young. She was already young. Rachel became a member of the band. It is something we will talk about later, but you know that Rachel didn't become a band, did she? So it couldn't be renaming the subject. Member is your predicate nominative. Number 3, the lost cat is gray. Gray is a predicate adjective. Number 4, poisonous is your predicate adjective. Look at number 5. The most powerful man in America is the president. That is a long sentence, but a lot of it is in the subject. And if it's in the subject, it can't be a predicate nominative or a predicate adjective, can it? So president is your predicate nominative describing man. Lewis and Clark were frontier pioneers. Pioneers is your predicate nominative. Number 7, huge, predicate adjective. Number 8, the pop machines in the lobby. Now, what is the subject of this sentence? It's not lobby, is it? It's not talking about the lobby. So, do you understand? Your subject is machines. And what were the machines? They were empty, so that's a predicate adjective. Number 9, Gatorade is an essential drink. Do you see that I almost underlined runners and that would have been a mistake? Okay, Gatorade is not a runner. Gatorade is a drink. So drink is predicate nominative that renames Gatorade. Number 10, predicate adjective. You can have more than one. Small and sour are both describing grapes. Actually, green's describing grapes too, but it can't be a predicate adjective. It's just a regular adjective that you would diagram under the word grapes. Number 11, that is the same kind of thing. He is an actor and president, so both of those are just predicate nominatives. Number 12, sunny and bright, both describe the weather, so they are predicate adjectives. Number 13, predicate adjective. Number 14, the peso is Mexico's currency. Currency is the predicate nominative. Mexico's is going to be your adjective describing whose currency, right? But it's not a predicate adjective because it's not describing peso. It's describing currency. Number 15, outlaws is predicate nominative. Number 16, nurse is predicate nominative. Number 17, now look, Steve's story seems strange to us. Steve's story doesn't seem us, right? To us is something that we'll talk about later called a prepositional phrase. But you know that neither one of those words is describing story. Strange is your predicate adjective. Number 18, marsupial is a noun, so that's a predicate nominative. Number 19, wild and noisy, both describe classes, right? Predicate adjective. And number 20, the last day of school is Friday. Friday describes day, the last day, right? So that is a predicate nominative because Friday is a noun. Okay, I'm going to hold it where you can see all of this. So if you need to, you can pause it and make any corrections that you need to make. And just put this in your binder, and I will see you tomorrow.